Good afternoon and welcome to the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Greenfoot Rapids pregame show. It's Sunday, which means the Rapids are back at home yet again and are on a one-game win streak so far, looking to win 2 of 2 on the weekend against the division rival in the Campbellton Tigers. So much to talk about in this episode, including the return of 2 former Rapids. But first, we're going to get into the tale of the tape for this game. The Campbellton Tigers 12-11, 2-1 on the season, putting them at 5th place in Eastling North Division. The Grand Falls Rapids, on the other hand, 15-12-2 on the season. Leading the way for both teams in goals, former Rapid Caleb McDonald and Cohen Miller, the newest addition of the Grand Falls Rapids during this past week. Jonah Leard leading the way in assists for the Green and White. Nathan Rhodes, another former Rapid, leading the way in assists for the Tigers. Caleb McDonald leading the Tigers in points with 32 points. And Jonah Leard and Cohen Miller tied for points on the Rapids team with 36. Now, we had talked about how this was going to be a real high-intensity game at the beginning of the week, and I'll elaborate on that in just a little bit. So, first off, you're going to notice that the goals for considerably higher on Grand Falls' end. 110 goals for compared to Campbellton's 88 goals for. Their goals against are basically just identical, almost identical. There's one goal that separates their goals against. 103 are the Rapids and 104 are the Tigers. Then beyond that, you move into your special teams. The Rapids finally falling from first place in the power play. They're only 0.7% off of the division lead, and currently that power play percentage is being held by the Chaleur Lightning. So currently that power play percentage is being held by the Chaleur Lightning first overall. That's 21.8% on the power play. The West Kent Steamers, not the Chaleur Lightning. The West Kent Steamers holding the power play percentage of 21.8. The Rapids directly behind them with 21.1. And if you look all the way down at the bottom, it's the Campbellton Tigers at 14.4% for 6th place in the Eastlink North Division. Penalty kill, the Rapids doing significantly better, let's say, on the penalty kill rather. 79.8% compared to Campbellton's 73%, which ranks them 6th overall in the division, and the Rapids ranks them 3rd. Now, why such a big game? Why Campbellton? I'll tell you why. Because, there's a couple of different reasons. First off, look at the standings and how close it is right now. The Chaleur Lightning are leading the division right now, 35 points. The Rapids 3 points behind them with 32. And then 3 points behind them are the West Kent Steamers at 29 and the Edmundston Blizzard at 29. Right behind them, the Campbellton Tigers at 27 and then the Miramichi Timberwolves at 22. So there is quite a huge gap in terms of the points between 1st and 6th now. But between 2nd to 5th, there's only 5 points that separate 2nd from 5th. Because, again, you look at where Campbellton is, they're at 27 points. Grand Falls is at 32. That is 5 points. That is the equivalent to 2 wins plus an overtime loss or, a shootout loss or however way you toss the dice. This division's getting real close. We talked about how in the last little while, especially going into the month of December, every game matters. This is no exception. Campbellton, in the last couple of games, has struggled a little bit. They're 0-2 in their last 2, 3-6-0-1 in their last 10. So for Grand Falls, is this going to be easy? No, because you saw what happened the last time these two teams played each other, and it ended up going Campbellton's way a good chunk of the time. But should the Rapids start on time, like they have been doing, and like they did on Friday night, came out, they scored the first goal and held the lead basically until the 3rd period. That's going to give them a huge advantage in this game. And like I said, with the addition of Cohen Miller up front, is again in the starting lineup. And I'm going to put that on the screen in just a few moments here too. But with Cohen Miller, the addition to the lineup, he scored on the power play last game, got his first goal in his Rapids debut. It is such a big piece that they were adding on, and just really kind of adds that extra little bit of oomph to that top six. So with this Rapids team, it's going to be all about shutting down Campbellton's offense. Not only that, it's going to be about getting to their goaltending early, because again, Campbellton's another one of those teams where they've got solid goaltenders, and when they get dialed in, they get dialed in. Yes, they've struggled the last few games, but historically against Grand Falls, they've had a lot of really great, solid goaltending performances, right? You look at Nico Boudreau, I would guess that Boudreau is going to get the start this game. Samuel Kemper, of course, the last goaltender to get the start against the Rapids, and that was that Wednesday night game when they took the victory 3-1 against Grand Falls. I would think that Nico Boudreau is going to start tonight, and he is no pushover. 8-7-1 on the season, a .909 save percentage, and 3.81 goals against. Those are some pretty good numbers, especially for a team that's sitting in 5th place in the division. Like, if he does start, it's going to be a tough one, but anything is possible when you're brave enough. So, I am going to take a look, or give you a look into the game and into the starting lineup. So as you can see, Miller out there with Francoeur and Plant to start the game. Baxter, Michaud, and Leard, Calder, Paré, and Plemenon, Michaud, and then Richard and Kennedy. So they're rolling with 11 and 6 today. Nate DeBroy, Anton Topolnitsky, Jack Brown, Isaac Allard, Lloyd Gallant, and Carter Bellamy in the lineup. And then Adam Lacour and Jeremy Thibodeau-Soucy backing him up. So, once again, Miller's going to be out there on that first line. Really has started to develop himself into a great young forward, leading the Rapids or tied for the lead with Jonah Leard in points for the Rapids, like I mentioned. And I think this is a good lineup combination. They're going, like I said, they're going with 11 and 6 today. Luke Barnell still out of the lineup, it looks like. And again, there's going to be a couple of scratches. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to how these two teams can match up, right? It's going to be sharp offense versus sharp offense, because now the Rapids, they have that killer top six. They've got that amazing depth in the bottom six as well. So their forward group, fantastic. Their defense, real solid, and they've got two solid goalies on the back end. For Campbellton, they've got their solid goaltending, and they've got some pretty good forwards, some pretty elite forwards. But where they struggle is their defense. And lately, especially, a lot of defensive zone turnovers have really cost them games and cost them goals. So that's a big reason why Grand Falls is going to need to capitalize on those mistakes early. And maybe, if it's like it was in the last game, they score the first goal of the game and get the momentum going in their favor. So, with that said, is it going to be a tough one? Yes. Is there going to be a lot more to digest in this game than previous games? I would say so. And the reason being is because this is the last game of a 5-game homestand. They are so far 1-3 in those 4 games. And 2-3 in those 4 games. And I am getting the stats all mixed up. Sorry, 2-2 in the 4 games they played at home. This is their 5th game before they head on the road again. Last game at home for a little while. The next time that they're going to be at home is the 20th of December. That's going to be the last game during their last game of the 2025 calendar year. That is December 20th against the Chaleur Lightning. That's at home. Before that, they have a 3-game road trip coming up. They are in Edmonton next Saturday at 7:30. Then they're in Miramichi the following day at 4 o'clock. And then on the next weekend, they're in Campbellton on Friday night, December 15th. And then they come back home for December 20th, the last game of the calendar year. So it's going to be a busy month of December. Doesn't make it any less challenging, doesn't make it any less pressure-filled. But I think with the sheer will and the sheer talent that we've seen from these guys, without a doubt, I think that they can do it. And there's no question at all that this can go very well if things go well for Grand Falls. Your keys to the game: starting on time, so scoring that first goal like we mentioned in the previous game, shutting down Campbellton's offense, so obviously that being Nathan Rhodes and Caleb McDonald, your two X factors, and of course, solid. The last game, you saw that they barely took any penalties, but when they did, they were necessary and they weren't. They weren't. I lost my train of thought there. When they did take the penalties, they were not dumb calls, so to say. So stay out of the box, neutralize Campbellton's offense, and get that first goal on the board. With that said, I'm going to head up and start getting ready in the booth. I've got the call with you, 3 o'clock 3 o'clock Atlantic time. If you are not coming to the game, make sure you're tuning into Flow Sports. If you are coming to the game, make some noise, please. This place has been far too quiet over the last little while, and I want to hear you, yes, you, watching this right now, make some friggin' noise. I'll see you in the post game.